Martinez and James Pravola go on a cafe crawl around some of Melbourne's quirkiest destinations. The Society of Music, they share with us the love of music, and we discuss the growing issues in Syria. And we head out to you and see how you feel about Donald Trump. Now, good afternoon. My name is Sasha Doldy.
And I'm Raquel Martins, and we're coming to you live from La Trobe University in Bundoora. Welcome to LTYou Radio.
It is midday. Let's check in with the news desk.
Fire crews have found the bodies of 3 adults after a house fire at Everton Hills in Brisbane early this morning. Police Inspector Daniel Bragg said neighbours reported hearing yelling and an explosion before the intense fire took over the building. Neighbours' houses were evacuated as a precaution, and detectives remain at the property and say that the deaths are being treated as suspicious. A man has been found shot dead in a suburban driveway in Melbourne's east. Emergency services were called to Berkeley Square, Ringwood, just after 1 a.m, with reports that a man had been shot. Police said that the officers found the man in his 30s or 40s dead in a driveway. The homicide squad is investigating the circumstances of the death. UK Prime Minister Theresa May defends her decision to join the US and France in the strikes against Syria after accusations were made that she had blindly followed US President Donald Trump. May addressed the UK's House of Commons, saying that the military action was morally and legally right and that was in the interest of national safety. The Greens have announced a plan to legalise cannabis for Australians over the age of 18 in a bid to take the drug out of the hands of criminals. Senator Richard Di Natale argued his party's idea wouldn't result in widespread use across Australia and claimed the legalisation would come with strict regulations. The policy has support from former Australian Federal Police Commissioner Mick Palmer. And finally, Kendrick Lamar has won the Pulitzer Prize to go with all his Grammy Awards. Lamar's Damn album was announced as the recipient of the prestigious award, making history as the first ever rap artist to receive the award, typically being given to classical or jazz works.
Wow.
That's a big award to get when they're not usually given to people like Kendrick and the music he creates.
No, he seems to have a very huge fan base, not only for his music but also his opinions.
Definitely.
And so if he can get through to people through the music, why not?
Exactly.
But also big story with the cyber attacks in Australia of, 300,000 odd.
I was talking with my godmother about it yesterday. She's someone who has Facebook but hasn't really used it a lot, and she's always been really worried about who can see her account, if people can see what she's looking at, and I had a big talk with her about it yesterday, just because she wants to get rid of it, but like a lot of us, we use it for work nowadays, and it's something that we need to have to be in touch with employers and other people. So it's a tricky situation with all the data being pulled, but
they're just concerned that that'll only allow more hackers to come in and take that now that it's been opened up. Now we've also got cannabis on. It seems to be the headline throughout the week. In regards to the Greens wanting to legalise it. It was on the news again last night and again this morning. I think personally it's only a matter of time before they decide to do it.
Definitely. It's, there's other countries already that have legalised it and have had it legalised for a long time.
And it's been working for them.
Exactly. It's just whether or not it's going to work here, because it hasn't.
Wouldn't it get rid of the drug dealers per se, where you've got people that are running these, I wouldn't call them nurseries, but maybe hydroponic plants that are actually doing it properly.
Yeah.
And therefore,
you'd hope they would get rid of them.
Keeping people out of business. But
you'd hope, but
yeah,
it might be a tricky one to start with. I think it'll take a bit of time for them to get all of the other dealers out and that sort of thing.
Absolutely. And I think we might leave the Syria discussions to a bit later on, but that is something that we definitely want to cover later.
Definitely.
With James's help. Now, I had the opportunity to go to Brunswick Football Club, and what I did was I wanted to find out why they put those boots on each week locally, and it's basically a special sport report, and I just wanted to see what we could find out about women's football locally more than AFLW level.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
It's a new era in our great game. Welcome to AFL. AFL Women's?
I'd moved to Brunswick, and being an interstater, I thought it would be a good opportunity to meet people. So when I joined the Renegades, it was a team of 1 and about 30 women, and really just getting that community feel about it, and went down to training and met a whole heap of great women who have become some of my closest friends over that short period of time. So for me, it was about meeting people and community engagement. I think when the AFLW came out, it really gave every female that wanted to play football that never had the opportunity an avenue to play football. So for us at Brunswick, we started with one team. We had a massive influx of players that had on the back of that gone, I can actually play women's football. So we went from one team to nearly 2.5, and then we probably next year will be looking at putting in the third team. So yeah, I think the AFLW really opened up the floodgates for women to be able to play football. Yeah, absolutely. It's not just about football, it's that family environment, that community environment, and like things like this today, we're at an end of season trip, there's 40 odd women that are actually really good friends. It's giving a safe place for women to feel comfortable, whatever the gender, whatever the cultural background. There's no judgments. We've got a great culture at our club. Women inherently are really good listeners, want to learn. So from a coach's perspective, the feedback from our coaches is it's fantastic coaching women because, we listen to what they say, and then we ask those 5 whys. But why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Why? Because we want to know what the end result is. So from the coach's point of view, it's actually really easy to coach females in football.
For me, it's like I don't see it that any difference. It's like a women's league. It's just football at its purest form. Back what no one's getting paid big money or like up home at country footy. It's a lot more now. There's people getting paid to play, but this is just footy at its purest form. People playing for the love of the game.
What drew you to the sport, being from Germany?
I think I wanted to be able to make friends because the only friend I had was my boyfriend. And then we went out one afternoon to kick the footy and I was like, that's fun. I'll just try that. And I'll be able to make friends. That's basically it. Yeah. That's awesome. That's cute.
I like the amazing people I have met.
Also, that means you've definitely been hydrogen.
But as a Canadian, playing Australian sport, what drew you to it?
The physicality of the sport and the pace is probably the most.
Football is what rules Victoria, Melbourne in general. So I didn't see the reason why not to enjoy such an awesome sport that everybody's into. Also, you get out of Melbourne and no one plays it, so it's kind of boring. It's absolutely amazing, and I wouldn't play anything else.
And what keeps you coming back every season?
I love footy.
Looked awesome. I mean, one of the things I loved about that was just that real community spirit that you could see that throughout the entire package. Whenever the team was together, you just got this really nice sense of community and team, and it was really good to see.
Yeah, it is, and they're such an age range as well. So there's women that have just started in their late teens, early 20s, but there's some women there that would be in their early 40s and they're still playing. There's no gap between them. They get along really well. And it seems they're all supportive of each other, not just in football but in life.
Yeah. That'd be really good to have, not only teammates but people who'd become really good friends, having them there, so like you said, in their 40s, in their teens, their early teens, like having people like that around just not only helps you build that skill in footy but, just all over life skills.
And it's more, they were talking a lot about community and how a lot of them just joined because they wanted to make new friends. It wasn't necessarily about the game, but once they started playing, they were hooked. The tackling, the, they're having to go through the mud and the rain. They just love it.
You don't get that experience all the time. It's not every day you get to tackle someone in the mud.
No.
And you're allowed to do it,
That's exactly right. And I mean, I guess what we can look at now is with AFLW having come through its second season, the amount of girls that joined up this particular year, they were saying they had to cap their registrations at 100.
They had that many girls.
They have 2 teams this year, but 100 people, women that want to play. So it's really hard for them to then rotate that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they love the interest. And it's not just the Brunswick Football Club, they were saying. It's the whole region in Victoria. I'm sure in other states as well, there's that peaked interest because of these women that are now playing on television.
That's so great.
The next step is obviously you look at professional AFLW with the pay. Mm-hmm. That was a huge issue toward the end of this season.
Definitely.
But it seems to be inspiring a lot of women to not be afraid to go and have a go at, technically male-dominated sport. So
it is. So it's good to see them getting out there and just giving it a go, because that's what, footy's all about and sport is all about. Just, having a go. You don't have to be the best of the best, but if you're out there having fun, then that's the most important thing, I think.
Absolutely. Would you have a go?
I definitely would.
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah. I think there is a team here at the show. We'll have to check it out. Maybe we'll send Astrid on for doing it.
That sounds good.
That's right.
Speaking of things we can do at La Trobe, we are about halfway through our first semester here, and everyone knows it's about that time when we need to put our heads down and study and just really start to, sometimes we can ignore the need to relax a little bit and have a bit of me time. So when I like to relax, a cup of tea, 3 cups of tea, maybe 4.
I'm a coffee fiend.
Yeah, so. I like to have a few. So we sent our entertainment specialist, Paula, out to find some of the quirkiest cafes in and around Melbourne.
Oh, this will be good. This will be great.
Alright, so for this week's segment of Is It Worth Your Money, we are looking at a couple of quirky cafes around Melbourne. Our first cafe that we're visiting is that one over there. I don't know if you can see, but it's pretty much 3 trams on top of a building, and it's a cafe, so let's go in and find out if it's worth our money. Right now we're in between 2 trams or train carriages. I don't really know what they are. Trams.
No, they're trains.
Oh, trains.
Choo-choo trains. These are the old trains.
This is the outdoor area, and we've got a view.
Hi guys, welcome to Big Smalls, an American style diner. Here we go. Let me take my second bite.
How is it?
Turkish delight, ice cream, and pistachio and chocolate.
Is it worth it?
No, no. You know what I could have bought for $8? A kilo of bacon.
way I've ever had in my life. No joke.
You heard it here
And
first.
it's vegan. And I've had lots in my time. Wait.
They taste like mango.
It just tastes like pure mango.
Yeah.
Which is what I want. It's fresh, it's tarty,
Tarty.
and it's smooth.
I don't know how this is looking.
What a fun day.
Such a fun day.
That looked awesome. So which was your favourite of the three? Were there three there? Four?
Yeah, there was 3.
Of the 3 you tried?
Melbourne is like the quirky cafe capital of the world, I would say. There are so many and we had so many options, but we did have to narrow it down to 3 and we thought these were some good options. I loved the train cafe that was like on top of the building, and it was 3 different trains, and like in between each carriage they had like an outdoor area looking out onto like the city and
That looked so incredible.
so cool. And the inside is actually still looks like, kind of like a train, like the seats are still train seats, and they've got like the windows still there, like it's so cool, and they've got like the graffiti
and where's that one?
It's in Collingwood.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to check that out, I think.
So with all
And the food looked amazing.
all the food and the money, and what was the best value, what was the best taste? I mean, I think by the looks that mango sorbet seemed to...
Yeah, so I think all 3, because they're so nice, they like feel like they can sort of take the price up a bit just because it's such a nice place to be at, and it is worth it at the end being in such a nice environment. Definitely the Biggie Smalls Cafe, that was a bit overpriced. It was so good, as you can see. James was really enjoying his Turkish delight, but it was like, that was $8, that little one.
Yeah.
So you know, if you're a student and you are in a budget, then maybe that's something that you like go
Treat
to really
yourself.
treat yourself. If you just want to go like to study or with a friend, then yeah, maybe the other 2 are a bit better. The ice cream place wasn't too bad. It was just like a regular ice cream.
And
prices.
what was it like? Place you could sit in and just hang out, or even grab your laptop there?
The ice cream place?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just had a few benches along the side. There wasn't too much seating. There was also outdoor seating. But yeah, it's so visually beautiful. Like, I was just sitting there like in awe. Like the lighting, the colours.
Yeah.
The girl that was serving was so nice. And yeah, it was just a really pleasant environment. So for sure, a place that you can just go and hang out with your friends or do some work. Same with the train ones, even if you just go and have like a beer or a coffee and just sit there with your laptop doing some work, looking out at the view. It's
just refreshing to have a change of scenery rather than the library.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It can get a bit, at the moment with the heating in there, it gets a bit toasty.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be good to definitely get out. I think that's something that people tend to forget, that, it is important to get out when you're studying and get out of that same environment that you're always in. Go sit in the ag and study out there on one of the tables, or, sit in the garden at home, or go to a coffee shop and, pop your headphones in so you don't have the hustle and bustle if you need some more quiet.
Yeah.
But it's really important to get out and, visit some of these amazing cafes and take that time
do it together
for you.
as well. Sometimes studying on your own, you procrastinate so much.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, I do. But
Yeah, me too.
With someone else there, you sort of can help each other out, and I think that's really important, especially towards the end of a semester when you're...
Yeah, or even just to have a break. It doesn't have to be to go study, just to go and explore. I think a lot of these places aren't... they're not right there. They're a bit hidden, so you do have to kind of know about them.
Yeah.
But
so we should put that up on our Twitter. I think
Definitely.
exactly where you went.
Yeah,
what you
the addresses
preferred.
and everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you like coffee though?
Yeah, I love coffee.
Did you try the coffee at the cafe itself?
No, so if we say cafes, but they're actually all mainly restaurants. You can get coffees. I think the ice cream place actually...
They probably would have done a little avocado or something.
Maybe, yeah. I know for sure the other places did serve coffee.
Yeah.
But we didn't try it. We should have tried it next time.
Next time. So if you were going to recommend a place, would it be the...
Out of the 3?
Yeah.
Depends. If you want to go get ice cream, obviously the ice cream place.
It's
If you
all
do want
different.
something to eat, then I would definitely recommend the... I can't pronounce the name. I think it's like... It's the train one. It's just got a weird
The train
name.
one works. The train one works.
It'll be up on the Twitter page.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one I recommend, and the food looks insane.
Do you know if any of those places have their own social media that people could check out before heading over? Okay,
They've got their own social media.
Well, we can
we'll
hopefully
put that
tag
up.
them.
Yeah.
Check out our Twitter page at LTYou Radio. That's LTYou Radio. And we'll pop up those suggestions from Paula and James, so you can check them out yourself. That'd be good.
We should get an Instagram. Then you guys can just story yourselves mad at all the different experiences.
I think we'll need to.
Yeah, all right. Good
Some
idea.
behind the scenes.
I'll get onto that now.
So, as well as taking some time to relax, I know music is a big part of what I love to do when I'm relaxing, you know.
Absolutely.
Put on some Alicia Keys, you know, have a bit of a sing at home.
Oh, yeah.
The family doesn't like it too much.
No.
They, you know, when I'm singing out and about making too much noise, but you have to do it sometimes.
Yeah, it's a good release, I think.
It is. It definitely is. But did you know that La Trobe has its own society for music?
No, I had no idea.
There's a society for everything at La Trobe, but I didn't know that music
awesome.
was one of
but
them.
No, I mean, that's really interesting.
It is.
Me.
It's
I love
really
music.
cool. It'd be interesting to find out a bit more. So we've put a little bit of a package together.
Yes.
So everyone can have a look at what the Society of Music at La Trobe is.
All right.
Hi, my name is Astrid, and today I'm joining the Music Society of La Trobe. I'm pretty excited because I haven't played an instrument since I was a kid. And my mom used to push me into piano, and I played it for 2 months before she took me out of the class again. Yeah, and I have been singing a lot, mainly in the shower, so let's see how it goes today.
Society music is sort of like, it's a place where you can go and play music with a bunch of people who are also interested in doing that, you know. There's definitely a unity to it. There's a group of people who you've never met before, you probably wouldn't have met them otherwise, and you know, you just plop into the same room because you both happen to play woodwinds. It's really nice, you know, it's a place where people connect, and it's a place where people can really find, I guess, a place to belong, you know?
The Society of Music is about just any musician who can play any instrument for however long. It's just a place where they can all come together, just have a bit of fun. We can do performances, we can do just jams. It's just basically a place where everyone can come together and just have a good time.
I'm going for the drums. Drums? I think I'm going for the piano as well, because I'm a well-known piano player. No. Maybe singing?
Yeah, I'll do later.
Yep,
Coming to something like Lucon is a really good place to start. You know, you're not forced to perform. You can just sit back and watch. As you grow more confident, you can slowly join in. They encourage beginners to, you know, get involved. Otherwise, you could just practice at home until you're confident enough to, you know, come and start jamming with everyone else.
say music takes all types, and so does the society, you know. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you're into outside of music. As long as you're into music, then you're welcome, you know. If you'd like to be a part of a group of people who are striving towards performing lots and lots of really fun music with really, really awesome people, then I'd say that's just as good a reason as any.
Everyone here is so easy to get along with. You make so many new friends. You can take your talents you know, to the next level and perform, or you can just jam with mates and have a good time. And yeah, it's a good opportunity.
Just come. It's a lot of fun, you know. You might find that you're here because you just got out of high school and you know, want somewhere to continue playing your saxophone. Or you might think that you'd like to start learning guitar, but you don't have any mates who are interested to, you know, do the journey with you. You know, society music is perfect for both of those things and more. It's a really great place to just explore music, you know, and it's great because you've got people to explore it with you.
Even though if you're like me, having played an instrument for a long time, you can still like participate, and people are really friendly and they will show you how to do it. I had a really good evening together with them, and I could definitely see myself going again. So yeah, thumbs up for Music Society on La Trobe.
That looked like so much fun.
Yeah, you guys are lucky.
We have in the studio with us Nissa and Max from the La Trobe Society of Music. Welcome.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Really want to hear about it. So yeah.
Tell us a bit about what the Society of Music is and how long you guys have been operating at La Trobe.
Well, I think the Society started somewhere around 2012. I personally joined in 2015. How about you?
I joined in 2016.
Yeah, and so it's like Chris said in the video, it's just a space for students at La Trobe who play an instrument to just be around like-minded people, perform, learn. Kind of gives you that chance to do that after you've left high school, and also to just, I guess, socialise around people who have something in common.
And what instruments or what do you guys play when you're at the Society? What's your go-to?
I play the bass guitar and the double bass.
Awesome.
I sing and play piano.
Beautiful. And how long have you guys been involved in music?
Or
tricky one.
Since I can remember, I think.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah, the same.
That's awesome.
How big is the community itself? From what we saw in the video, was that just a small portion of people that were there, or is that?
No, I think that's a pretty good representation of how
absolutely.
many people. We get about 30 or so, 20 to 30.
Yeah, and it varies from week to week.
Yeah.
So you might get 30 people one week and then 20 the next, and different people each week.
Yeah, so you can basically form your own orchestra in a way. You got all
Yeah.
those different. What's the weirdest instrument that you guys have someone playing there?
They
or
didn't
unique, maybe. Is that a word?
Or they didn't actually come to the Society to play it, but we thought it was interesting when we heard it. I think last year someone wanted to play the spoons.
The spoons.
Yeah.
Is that like, are we talking like real spoons?
We weren't sure.
That's different.
How often do you guys meet up? Is it a weekly thing or?
Twice a week.
Yeah. Cool. And a couple of hours, I'm guessing, because by the time you want to start jamming and...
Yeah. Setup usually takes a while, and then we have a jam, and then we just go on.
Do you just sort of get lost in time sometimes, just playing?
Yeah,
Yep.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when we're playing songs we know really well, like Are You Gonna Be My Girl, and Ghostbusters really gets it.
I love that song, yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you go, Max, with carrying the double bass around?
I don't bring it every week.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a
Getting
hassle.
that on a tram or something would be...
I drive, but yeah.
Thank goodness, because I could imagine it would be tough.
Yeah.
Tough going. Do you enter any competitions as a group, or is it more just social fun?
I would say it's more social.
Yeah.
Is there a hope to one day maybe, you know, make a little bit of a band out of the society and join a competition or, you know, play in a more public forum?
Yeah, definitely. And I think we also encourage smaller groups within the society. If they want to make a band, we'll definitely try and support that. And yeah, I think that's definitely our hope.
It'd be really good, I think, you know, if someone wanted to, you know, create a small band within that society, having the support of everyone else around them, you know, to help them out and, you know, encourage them and help show them the way would be, you know, really helpful, because the music industry isn't quite an easy one to crack.
Is it certain genres of music, or do you guys just go any which way? I mean, country to jazz to, you know, is it just a whole plethora of music, or is it mainly rock, like Are You Gonna Be My Girl type stuff?
It really depends on who we have, I think. Yeah. So it changes from year to year. We've sort of alternated between classical, but we have covered quite a few genres. Cool. This year we're doing a few musical numbers as well.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Oh, that sounds great. What musical? Or is it just a...
Tune into our concert.
Well, tell us more about that, yeah.
We have a concert coming up at the end of May.
Yeah.
End of May, yeah. And
24th?
It'll be on campus, yeah.
Likely at the Odeon, which is at the near the Union Hall.
Yeah. Okay, great. And how can we get, you know, tickets, or how can we come in to watch that?
It'll just be, I guess we'll be definitely advertising online and
so Facebook, Instagram, social media.
Yep,
everything like that.
Awesome.
What are the advantages of being part of the Music Society for yourself studying as well at La Trobe? Do you find it a good balance to be able to then zone out with music?
Yeah, for me personally, it's nice to have something separate.
Yeah.
And also have that thing be a social thing as well, so you can tune out from what you're doing and also spend time with people.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to find friends in your subject because obviously you don't know what they're like.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff
very
like that.
Yeah, not everyone's on the same page.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But they might be in the same degree. So,
yeah.
So music does that for you.
I think that's one of the great things about a lot of the societies at the university. You get to find like-minded people, whereas in your degree, you're studying the same thing, so you're like-minded to a certain amount, but, you know, having people in a society that, you know, are really passionate about the same things as you would be really, really good, I think.
And it's really interesting. Like, sometimes you'll find that you both play music, but then you'll find something else that you have in common that you just didn't even
form a friendship away from that as well. And
yeah, it's just you find that having one thing in common just leads to a whole bunch of other things.
That's awesome. If I wanted to come and had no experience with instruments, how does that go down? Do I just rock up with a triangle? I mean, do you take people that don't really know, they want to be involved, they want to learn, but yeah.
We've been trying to get lessons going in previous years.
Yeah.
I think the biggest obstacle we have is just shortage of instruments. Like, there are a lot of people who want to learn piano and we don't have a whole lot of pianos.
Yeah.
So I would say come and have a go and we'll see what we can do, and we'll definitely try our best to include you.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think the thing is, being in the club and playing with other people helps you improve playing as well. So I wasn't that good at the start, and now I feel like I'm a bit more confident.
Yeah. And you can, I guess, continue practicing at home as well. And
yeah,
that's definitely the way, I think. If you want to join the club, is it all through social media the best way to get in contact with you, or?
Yes. We have our private group and our public group. So we ask people to join the private group.
Yes.
And then from there we'll post everything that's going on.
Awesome. You go.
No, continue.
I just was going to ask, worst songs. Is there songs that you just get sick of playing? People.
I feel like that look across the table means yes.
Probably
the American
National Anthem.
Why is that being played so often?
Well, we've got one guy he's not American, but he's obsessed with America.
Right. Running jokes.
Yeah.
Another one's probably the Friends theme. He plays it every time after Are You Gonna Be My Girl, because it's in the same key.
Yeah, cool.
I actually watched Friends because he played it so much.
It's a great great show. I mean, I do enjoy it. But okay, so that's strange. No Australian national anthem, just
No.
Just the American.
No.
Just the American one.
That's hilarious. Cool. Sorry, I interrupted you before.
It's okay. I was going to ask. I'm a bit of a Disney fan. Is
Yep.
there much Disney that gets played?
Yes, there has been.
What's been the go-to Disney song of late?
For some reason, we've been going through, I think, Tangled. We've been having a bit of a sing-along to Tangled, and there may or may not be something from Aladdin coming up. You'll have to see. Yeah, definitely.
That's
Disney
awesome.
is welcome.
That's awesome. Thank you. Just quickly, so someone wants to join, they go to your social pages, which we will also put up on our Instagrams and socials as well. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You guys, I'm looking forward to this concert.
Should be great.
Yeah? You're nodding your head like yes, you are coming.
The theme is out of this world, so that's what we're hoping it'll be.
Fantastic. We're going to move on to something a little bit more serious now.
We are.
So there's been a lot being thrown around about Syria, the attempt to put on an end, to the attacks, chemical warfare attacks, and President Donald Trump didn't go down too well with his response to Vladimir Putin, and he basically said that any further attack would cause chaos to world affairs. We all have our expert in all things, James Provera, in to discuss what's happening, but first let's take a look and understand a little bit more about what's happening. Okay, James, talk us through it. That was pretty horrific vision to look at.
So on the 13th of April, the US, UK and France dropped 120 missiles on Syria. So the Syrian war's been going for about 7 years now. Well, the bombing kind of marked the 7th year. And yes, it's struck a lot of international affairs, especially with Russia and all these other players who are involved with it. So Donald Trump a week ago said that this was coming. You kind of don't really know how to take anything that he says these days.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem now, isn't it?
So he said we're going to come down with fire and wrath and whatever else he says these days. But a lot of people were like, we don't know if this is going to happen. And then it just did on Friday night. The attacks happened.
What were the chemical weapons used by the government, and what did they actually do?
So the Assad government mostly focused on chlorine weapons. So chlorine gets released in the air. The victims smell it. Apparently it smells like pineapple. So if you would smell something
You
sweet,
wouldn't be
you
too
would
worried.
breathe it in more, and then
Yeah.
it would start to like shut down your lungs, and you'd have all these chest problems, and then you would eventually die. So 44 people last week were killed from the government attacks.
There's a lot of children as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
20-something children.
Gosh. I mean, this is a war that has been going on for oodles of time, but at the moment, as you said, it's been the last sort of 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
Who's involved in...
So,
I mean,
there's
it's
four.
a big, broad question, I know, but...
When I like started to get deep into it, I was like, oh, it's just like good versus evil. No. So you've got the Assad government, and then you have the rebels. So back in 2011, there was protests, and then the government started firing on civilians, and then people from the army left the Syrian army and then joined the rebels.
Right.
And that's how they start to get some of their firepower, and then they start to fire back. And then Al-Qaeda stepped in, so that was the third player.
Right.
And then ISIS formed
Yeah.
as the fourth component to this war. So each side has a different, let's say, superpower. So the Assad government have Israel. No. Sorry, I mental blank.
All right.
So the Assad government have one. The rebels have the American and kind of like the Western force.
What's the end game in it, though? For all four superpowers, what do they want?
Just peace. Well, if you're a dictator government, you kind of want control of your country. So far, they're saying that the government is winning, but since you cannot fight a war for 7 years on limited resources, so people are thinking that his time might be coming to an end, yet he has so much control over the country. America's fighting for the West, fighting for the rebels, but solely attacking ISIS.
Right.
So what makes this strike different is that they're based on government buildings.
Yeah.
So normally they would just like attack ISIS strongholds and try to do whatever you can to like break them down.
Do you think there's any chance of it slowing down anytime soon? There's been a lot of talk of it, the whole World War III, a lot of scaremongering and that sort of thing. Do you think that's a possibility, or do you think it's not going to quite get to that? I feel like
with Russia and the US relations at the moment, how there's like a little bit of something going on there, that could escalate it. I don't feel like these attacks are going to cause World War III.
No.
You can relax, people. I feel like there are a few other problems in the world that could cause something like that. But the US are trying to stop a war, but trying to be friendly with Russia, who are on the opposite side of this war.
They're not putting boots on the ground either, are they? They're sort of doing it from afar.
Yeah.
With their
drone
planes and things.
The missiles used were GPS navigated. So they were like programmed them to attack these 3 certain spots where all these chemicals were being mass produced, or what they think.
Yeah.
And a lot of the US said all 120 landed. Russia and Syria said only a few, 20 have landed. Right. So the information isn't quite clear yet, and a lot of people don't really understand how much damage has been done unless you're actually on the ground.
And I think that's that's probably the worst bit. A lot of these people are getting caught up in a war, in a fight that isn't really all these, especially the children. That's what really sort of gets me when you see those images and that footage of the kids that
they still carry. I mean, it's not like they don't want to, but they have carry on their daily lives around all of this fighting and. It would be, pardon the pun, like Russian roulette trying to get through your day.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, I feel like with 7 years now, a lot of people have tried to flee the country and get out. But after Donald Trump came in, I think the US took in 14,000 refugees, and this year they've taken in 8.
8.
8.
Right. And I mean, I doubt that will change.
That's not changing. Yeah, that's not changing anytime soon, especially with his whole America First policy.
Gosh.
And the fact that, when you have a country that thinks everyone of a Muslim faith is a terrorist.
Yeah.
It makes it hard for them to...
What happens next? Like, do we just wait for Trump to tweet again?
I feel like there are going to be a few more strikes, especially with the uncertainty of these ones. And then, I mean, when you have such an unpredictable president who is doing something like this, I mean, there's always, you know how there's always a tweet that Donald Trump tweeted back in 2013 that correlates to this one. So it was roughly like how Obama attacked Syrians and just like, his presidency's so low, he's like so unpopular, he's gonna like do this airstrike. And then look at him, he's one of the most unpopular presidents in history, and now he's doing something like this.
Do you think he's just doing it, you know, for the attention, for the publicity, or do you think he's doing it because he genuinely thinks it's the right thing to do?
To do it for the publicity, like sacrificing lives and things like that, it's pretty messed up. But I think there's definitely an issue here that needs to be solved. That you can't just have a government using chemical weapons on its civilians. It's just unethical.
Definitely.
So on one hand, you are thinking these attacks are terrible, but they did have a purpose. It's not a good situation to be in.
Well, we'd love for you all to join in on the conversation. So please do tweet us at LTYou Radio. That's LTYou Radio. We'd love to get your thoughts, and we'd love for you to join in the discussion with the three of us. I believe we're also going to try and get a few comments from a few people out in the Agora on what looks like is turning out to be a nice day. The sun looks like it's coming out. So we'll be crossing live to Astrid in a few minutes, hopefully, if we can get that up and running. But please do tweet in and let us know what you're thinking about this whole issue with Syria and Trump and all the rest of it.
Yeah, let's even look at yesterday. Former FBI director Donald Trump of being a stain on everyone who worked for him. When asked if he thought Trump was unfit to be president, he replied yes, but not in the way I often hear people talk about it. I don't think he is medically unfit to be president. I think he's morally unfit to be a president.
On one hand, you kind of have to agree with him. On the other hand, I don't think he should be allowed in the media. Well, here's the problem. There's too many people trying to just let their mind go. And that's not good, especially when they don't they don't even have to correlate, but just have meaning or make sense behind them.
Look, I don't think it's wrong to assume that a leader of a country should embody respect and adhere to the core values. But the more and more we find out about Trump, it seems if it's just he's not suited.
I feel like we kind of all knew this.
It's not rocket science,
we don't live in America. I feel like our media is pretty good. I guess we all have issues with the media, but that's just something that comes with the job. When you have you heard of Sinclair?
No.
So Sinclair's a huge it's becoming a very huge company that buys local television productions, and right now they've kind of admitted that they're a huge propaganda machine. So being anti-media and for a media company to be anti-media is kind of
strange.
Only in America.
Absolutely.
But I feel like a lot of people don't actually understand what's going on, especially in America.
Well, let's see what Astrid's
going
to talk to us about with some people that may not or may understand what's going on as well.
My sausage is here. Do you want me to walk it? All right, so he goes around the truth with loose hand. He may have a deal with prostitutes in Russia. His relationship with Putin are suspicious. He's morally ruined, and he is the president of the United States. So I'm here today with you. Hi. What is your opinion about Donald Trump?
Probably not the best leader for one of the biggest countries in the world.
You don't think so?
No. What is all this about? Like, why do we hate Donald Trump so much?
Definitely like his campaign into presidency probably wasn't the best policies put forward. Put a wall up to Mexico, abortion bans in states, missile strikes in Syria, stuff like that. It's just a bit crazy that in 21st century we elected, or like American people elected person to be their leader when there was perfectly the candidate who was more educated in the role and had more experience.
So how do you like him as the man who's in charge of like all these big questions, like world issues?
Probably not the best, considering what he's done so far in his like year of being president. So I guess we could say not.
Thank you. And I think we have another one over here. What is your name?
I'm Nicole.
Nicole. Have you heard about James Comey, who's a former FBI director, what he has said about Trump?
No.
He said, like, President Trump is someone who will stain everyone around him. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, that's true. I also believe that he's not a very good leader. He doesn't respond to situations very well. And I don't think that a celebrity should be a leader. Like, I think it's his plans are really absorbed, and I think he's just selfish, and why should there be a Trump Tower, you know? I mean, there's a White House for a reason, but I think it's very stupid that they elected him as president.
And the former FBI said, like, Trump is morally unfit to the president and he treats women like piece of meat.
Yes, I agree that, because I don't think that he has changed much from before, like when he wasn't president or when he wasn't campaigning to now. I'm pretty sure he still treats women the same way as he did. And yeah.
Thank you for sharing your opinion with us. I think we're going back to the studio to beautiful Sash. Thanks.
Is this your class?
No, that's okay. They just asked me. Oh, thank you so much. Boy, guys, you saved that. You
There's so many people around Mildura and there's so many people at the university. We can't be the only ones that have some opinions on this. So it's really good to get everyone's involvement and to get a really big discussion happening. Like I said a bit earlier, please do tweet in, even after the show, if there's anything we've spoken about that you'd like to comment on, or that you think we didn't quite do justice and you want to hear us talk about it a bit more. Please do tweet us at LTYou Radio. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to hear from you, whether it's, before the show, after the show, during the show. So please jump on Twitter and say hello. I think we're going to try and get some tweets up. We'll see how we go. But, yeah, like we were saying with James earlier, Sash, it's a really difficult issue. You want to do what's right to help the people of Syria, but at the same time, are we overstepping? Should we just let them do it themselves, or do they need that extra help? It's hard to know what's the right thing to do.
If you go back to other world events that have been as catastrophic, look, the early 90s with Rwanda and the famine, and not like there wasn't a lot of help there initially, and then as the media picked up on that and it got, the new world's news spread that idea, it seemed to form some kind of assistance. But in regards to Syria, it's a little bit more tricky because of the chemical weapons that are being involved, and also being that it's America. Turnbull has said that he will support any movement towards striking Syria, or basically whatever Trump decides, we're going to support that. Now that's a precarious position to be in, because once we get involved, there's sort of no turning back.
There isn't.
You want to be able to, like you said, help these people, and I think such a conversation at the moment about refugees, and last night on Q&A there was, a lot of discussion on how we can welcome people from countries such as Syria. And if that's the case, we're going to have to look at, if we are going to go and strike their country, well, we need to try and figure out how we're going to assist them as well, because you can't just ruin everything that they live in and for to then walk away later and say, oh, well, we did our bit.
We helped. So now they've got to rebuild themselves. And that's the thing too. Once, hopefully this is something that within the next months might be, a bit of wishful thinking, but in the next few years that comes to an end. But then it's that whole rebuilding process. How long is that going to take? All these countries that are so willing to go in, send troops to fight, to bomb, are they going to be just as willing
Afghanistan
to help?
Earlier on in the decade and how we were there, and now we're, removed ourselves slowly. But did it make a difference? I mean, I'm not an expert, I can't comment, but there's certainly, I'm sure, studies and conversations happening on whether it is worth the while for Australia to get involved at all. So, yeah.
It's a tricky one. It's not easy. And I mean, the people up in the top spots are the ones that they're the ones that make the decision at the end of the day with, our recommendations, and, it's not an easy position to be in to make those decisions.
No, look, it sounds really interesting how we're discussing this serious topic that Donald Trump has inspired us to discuss in a way. But yet tomorrow he'll probably tweet something absolutely absurd, and you then wonder why he is still in this job. How long will he be in this job? Does he actually care?
He's a bit of a strange person to be in such a position of leadership, such, America plays such a big part in, so many things around the world. It's not as if, they're a country that doesn't really do and influence, stuff that's going on around the world. So it's interesting that whether by choice or whether there was other factors that got him to power, whether everyone knew the real consequences of and really thought about, what their votes towards Trump were really going to be doing and what they really meant.
I don't know if people actually thought about what they were voting for, to be honest. Look, I don't know if we're going to get those live tweets up or not today.
Don't think so.
It'll be a good opportunity to, if you are out there watching, we'd really like your opinion, because this show is not just about us, it's about you. And we like to know what you're thinking, feeling. And if there is anything you want us to cover that is important, whether it be a local issue, even international issue, we can try and do our best to find out more about it for you.
Definitely.
Rachel and I always... Sorry, Raquel. I always do that to you. I'm
it's
so
okay.
sorry. We're keen to learn more and do some more research into some interesting topics.
Definitely.
And it's not always about Trump. So
it isn't. And I think next week we've got a few exciting things coming up. Sash and I went to the Lego exhibition.
Yeah, we did.
Hopefully we can show you some of that next week.
Yes.
So if there are anything on around Melbourne, if there's things on at the university that you want us to come and attend, like the Music Society, like they were telling us when they were in, they've got their concert at the end of May.
Yes.
We can come and check that out and cover that for you, and, let other people know what's going on at your clubs, at your societies, around the university, at your sporting clubs. We can do that for you as well.
You know what else is coming up in the next couple of weeks?
What's that?
The Dog Lovers Show.
Ooh, I think we'll have to get down to
go
that
in
one.
there, and we're going to pat as many dogs as we can. Hopefully not steal them. Or maybe we will.
We'll try.
But in saying that, Raquel, it is time for us to say goodbye for another week. Remember, that you, like we've said, we're going to drill it into you. Keep trying to tweet us. Do it. We want to hear from you, and we're also going to set up an Instagram because we want to have some fun with you guys out there as well. Thank you for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next time.
We'll see you for lunch on Tuesday.